It's out of control when a brittle thought keeps building in my soul. It's alright, take your time to spread a message for your help. It's the reason you stayed on the shelf. If you want to waste your time, you could never care less. You could only listen closely as they try.
WODU. The best gospel music on the web, with the voice of inspiration.
Mountains high, down valleys low, in oceans deep, in search of you. Eyes can't behold, minds cannot grasp, hearts can contain. Searched mountains high, down valleys low, in oceans deep, in search of you. Eyes can't behold, minds cannot grasp, hearts can't contain. You're simply incredible. You're so amazing, yes. Beautiful Savior, and the great I am. You're the all-knowing mystery, ever present in disguise, overwhelming love. Yes, it's who you are. You're the only God over all the earth. Heaven calls your name, beautiful one. Creation bows at the sound of your voice. Words can describe you. You're the only God over all the earth. Heaven calls your name, beautiful one. Creation bows at the sound of your voice. Words can describe. You're simply incredible. Oh, so amazing, yes. Beautiful Savior, yes. The great I am. All-knowing mystery, ever present in disguise, overwhelming love. It's who you are. Holy, heaven's angels cry. Holy, it's who you are. Yeah. Holy, we stand in awe and worship you. Holy, it's who you are. Yeah. Holy, heaven's angels cry. Holy, it's who you are. God, you are holy. God, we
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me. He has anointed me to preach the good news through inspirational music. Welcome to this music ministry, the Let's Get Praise Music Ministry, and I'm your host, the voice of inspiration. And of course, I got the one and only Melody.
Good afternoon. Well, it's good morning still.
Yes,
11 a.m. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes, we are on. We are on.
Yes. How,
Thank
you know.
God for Jesus.
Hey, good morning to you.
Yes.
And good morning to the people that are watching and listening.
Absolutely.
Want to say good morning to you. As you know, we get to the point where we forget to say good morning to people.
That's right.
You know.
Remember, there used to be the protocol. The overseer say good morning.
Yeah.
Just say good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
Say something to me.
Say something.
Nevertheless, we're going to do our best right here because we believe that inspiration is what is the order of the day.
Yes, that's right.
You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. On the heels of Easter Sunday just passed, Resurrection Sunday, it was a blessing. It was a wonderful Easter. Actually, a new life came into our family.
Oh,
My
okay.
nephew had a baby boy on Easter.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Hey,
awesome,
he
awesome.
rose.
He rose. That's right. That's right. He has risen. He
Yes.
is alive and well in each of us.
Yes, no doubt
who
about it.
claim to be his children. Amen.
Because there's so much evil and darkness in the world
Amen.
that we sometimes forget. You cannot drive out evil with evil.
That's right.
You have to you got to have love.
That's right.
That's
right.
why he
Only
said
with
love.
light. Darkness is driven out by the light.
Yeah, that's why he said love your enemy.
That's right.
Because you can't hate him. If you hate your enemy, you become your enemy.
That's right. You become what you're looking at.
Yeah, so
Yes, that's
love, you know, regardless of how painful it might be, the things that we go through, the lives that are being lost in our community, we must learn to join together and try to fight this darkness that plague our future generation.
That's right.
You know, and that's, you know, you got to do it through inspiration. I was just telling my brother the other day in New York that back in the day when we was growing up, we always had inspirational music playing.
In the house.
In the house.
There you go. And because it would drive out the negative.
Right.
It would uplift you.
Right.
You're more likely to sing
Yeah.
and praise rather than doom and gloom in your house.
Yeah.
When you got that kind of music that uplifts you,
Right.
you know, it will give you energy in your house, the right kind of energy.
Let me sing one of my, I don't usually sing one. I got to sing something. I'm going to sing something. One of my songs that my mom used to sing all the time, I'm just going to sing a few bars of it. You know, it's about a young man that was a gambler.
Okay.
And it goes something like this. Once there was a poor young man who gambled night and day. One day he had grew so weak, he tried but he could not pray. Tell me where is the gambling man? Where is he gone? That's all I'm going to say.
Wow.
But it's just
We
something
need to find that song and pull it up.
yeah, because what it does is it tells you that the young man gambled his life away. He
right.
didn't do what was right.
That's right.
But then when he was on his dying bed, his friends came to see him one by one.
Right.
But it was too late.
It was too late.
But he said, take my body to the church and let it rest there now.
Wow.
So that's part
And
of
that
the
must
song.
be
Yeah,
an oldie but goodie. because
yeah, that's one of those classic,
we need to pull that song up.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
bring
that's-
that back into the rotation.
Yeah.
I
that's-
like that.
Hey,
But Mom and them knew what to do, right?
Oh, yeah,
They
oh,
knew,
yeah.
Look, they would know spiritually what song to put on in the house
Right.
to change that atmosphere.
Yeah, because we get to the point where we are able to understand
Right.
what the transition is when we are going from slavery to freedom,
Right.
from freedom to trying to integrate, and it's not working. But that's just my song for today.
Amen.
You
But
might
I
have
love
one
it.
later on.
There you go. Actually, I thought you were going to go where I was going. Because my grandmother's favorite song, I said, if he sing it, I'm going to cry.
Oh.
But you didn't. But
Okay.
we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah. Oh, hey, gotta happen. That's what the man upstairs
I really
gave
want
you.
to find that song for your mother.
Yeah.
And we're gonna bring that. Bring that back into
that's
rotation.
My mom used to sing them, all the time. That's why I tell people about soul food.
Right.
Soul food is when you're in the kitchen, you're preparing food, and you're stirring, and you're talking, and you're singing,
and it
giving
all
praise
melts into that pot.
Yes.
Because all that spirit. I was sharing with my youngest son. My grandmother would be frying chicken with one hand,
right,
and she would sing gospel with us,
right.
Just lift, and you be like, she cooking in one hand. Look, we can't even do one thing at a time.
Hey,
they
hello.
were multitasking.
They were
back
then.
Small little kitchen.
Yeah, back then.
And bringing all that soul into the food. Amen. Amen.
We keep moving along. But let me jump back into the music. Hey, Mello V, we'll be right back in a few minutes to introduce our guest who just walked in. Absolutely. And nevertheless, you're listening to the very best of inspirational music on WODU. It's the heartbeat of Old Dominion.
Hallelujah. Young people, there's nothing wrong with dancing for Jesus. But we can't forget where we come from. So if you don't mind, let's have a little church right now.
Something about that name.
Thank you, Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
Something about the name Jesus. Something about the name Jesus. Something about the name Jesus.
Hallelujah. Yes, sir.
It is the sweetest name I know. I love. Oh, thank you. Oh, I love the name. Oh, thank you.
Come on and lift your hands and say it with me.
It's the sweetest. It is the sweetest name. Yeah.
Thank you, Jesus.
I know.
Listen to this right here.
Some people say I'm crazy, but I can't explain.
No, no.
The power that I feel, oh, when I call your name.
When I call your name.
Said it's just like fire. Oh, shut up in my bones.
Oh,
yeah, the Holy Ghost is moving here.
yes, it is.
And it just won't leave me alone. There's something, yeah. Something about the name.
Yes, it is.
Something about the name.
Oh, I realize
It is a sweet name. Oh, I know.
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. That's the sound. Kurt Franklin. I love the name of Jesus. Right here on the Let's Get Praise Music Ministry with the voice of inspiration. And Mello V.
Yes.
We got our guest in the house early today.
He
We
is
sit over here.
He is here in the studio. And I wanted to say on the eve of the 50th anniversary of the assassination of MLK, Martin Luther King Jr., we have a community activist here, which is apropos. Only God could have orchestrated this because tomorrow is the 50th anniversary of the assassination of one of our leaders, one of our prominent leaders. So we have an activist here in the studio, Pastor Kaya Stevens, and he'll be telling us and speaking with us more at the top of the hour at 12 noon about what's going on in the community where he lives and in the spiritual community where we all should live. Amen?
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
We are here, and that's what we're here to do, to change the narrative of our future generations, to get out of that consciousness and bring in that positive consciousness because the enemy is battering us on all sides.
That's what they say.
And because of our guest today, he's one of those people that can drive out that darkness and bring in some of that light.
Amen.
Because you can't drive out darkness
With
with darkness. You have to have love.
Yes.
You have to have LOVE. It didn't say just for black people. It didn't just say for white people or Chinese
all
people.
folks.
Everybody. You know.
Everybody.
So, nevertheless, I'm going to jump back into the music because we're a few minutes behind. But nevertheless, 12 o'clock, we going straight to the top, baby, with our special guest, Pastor Stevens. He's in the building, and you know we're going to lay it down. So we want you to email, hashtag, and even comment today. If you have any questions, you want to comment, if you want to just hit some of those like buttons, some hearts. Hey, show us some love. Let us know that you're responding and you're understanding what we are trying to do here on the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show on the Let's Give Praise Music on
the best gospel music on the web with the voice of inspiration.
It's a song we learned in Zimbabwe. You are Alpha and Omega. Sing. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised. Sing it again. You are Alpha and Omega. We worship you, our Lord. You are worthy to be praised. We give you all the glory. We give you
I was hungry, you fed me. Naked, you clothed me. They will know us by our love.
Can't imagine how it felt as you lay there, through the dark, through the heat, through the cold, with your friend by your side, held his hand and watched him die, and you cried as you prayed for his soul.
I can't imagine how it felt as you stood there, through the winds that would just not go away. Kiss my wife, tell my son, my work on earth is done. You're the one that can still hear them say, oh.
Is there anybody out there listening? And does anybody know my name? No, my friend, we were not there, but we're here and we care. And yes, we feel your pain.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, we feel your pain.
I can't imagine how you felt as you sat there, trying to hide the fear upon your face.
Sometimes the earth begins to cry, and you ask the preacher why. Tonight we can hear the children say,
He saw the best in me when everyone else around could only see the worst in me. Can I tell y'all one more time, one more time? I said he saw the best in me when everyone else around could only see the worst in me. I wish I had a witness tonight. All I need is one. Hey, he saw the best in me when everyone else around me, yeah.
Everyone else around
could only see
the worst in me.
Does anybody have that testimony? When folk wrote you off, said you would never make it, what did he see?
He saw the best in me.
When everyone else around me is, oh,
When everyone else around
could
only see the worst in me.
Can I tell y'all one more thing? I just need to tell you one more thing. Listen to this. See, he's mine, and I am his. It doesn't matter what I did.
Though the storms keep on raging in my life, and sometimes it's hard to tell the night from day. Still, that hope that lies within is reassured as I keep my eyes upon the distant shore. I know he'll lead me safely to that blessed place he has prepared. But if the storms don't cease, and if the winds keep on blowing, my soul has been anchored in the Lord.
Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Make me to hear joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. Hide thy face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquities. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within thee. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not
tell you a little story. There was an old mother who lived in New Orleans who was displaced by Hurricane Katrina. She lost everything that she had: her home, car, family. And when they evacuated her, they sent her to a shelter between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. And while she sat there on a cot that they had provided for her, she had been without food and water and the necessities, and she began to cry. She started to shed tears. But while she was crying, she thought on the goodness of the Lord. And she started singing this little song. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
You loved me through my bad. You loved me through my good. And you loved me through my bad. Jesus. You didn't erase my future because of my past. I'm glad you loved me through my good and the bad.
Options are few. I'm trying to pray, but where are you? I'm all churched out, hurt and abused. I can't fake what's left to do. Come on. Truth is I'm weak, no strength to fight, no tears to cry, even if I tried. But still my soul refuses to die.
I will still trust you. I will still follow. I will still obey you. Even in sorrow, I will still love you, cherish and adore you. Even in my weakness, I'm gonna be a witness. Listen here. See, I had my share of heartaches. I've been down a time or two. Still I will be faithful, 'cause I know you still believe in you. I still believe in you. Still I will be faithful, 'cause I know you're able. Yeah. Still believe in you. Still believe in you. I will still praise you. Even when I'm tested, I will still serve you. I will still worship. I will still lift you. 'Cause I know you're worth it. See, I had my share of heartaches. I've been down a time or two. Still I will be faithful. 'Cause I know Lord. Yes, it will. You're able. Still believe in you.
Never knew my life could be this way. I never knew the sun could shine all day. Never thought I'd live beyond my past until I found Jesus. I never thought I'd be in this place. Oh, I'm glad, so glad I'm living my life in this place.
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. You're listening to the very best of inspirational music to 12 o'clock. In this place, on this Tuesday morning, where we try to bring inspiration from the daily walk of life.
With the voice of inspiration.
We try to bring the very best guest and the words that they need to inspire and uplift our community. Miss Mello V, would you like to introduce our guest who's going to be appearing at 12 o'clock?
Yes, at the noon hour, but he's here right now in the studio, Pastor Kaya Stephen. And he's a mighty man of God. First, I want to say that. But he's a community activist who has a heart for the community and the people and where he lives and all around the world. So he has a few words to say to our listening audience right now.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yes, good morning. Good morning,
Yeah.
listening audience, and I'm so honored to always. I consider anytime I spend time with you all, it's like being home, and I thank God for the both of you and having this wonderful show, and I'm looking forward to the noon hours. We can definitely discuss the things that are going on in the community and how far or where we're going as a community or as it relates to the community. So. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Amen.
That's what it's all about, bringing inspiration to our listening audience and to make sure that God gets the glory. That's what it's all about.
Amen. That's exactly right.
Always remember, it's never about us.
That's right.
It's
It's
about
all
what
about him.
It's what he sent us to do.
Absolutely.
You know, and sometimes we might get off track, but he has a way of letting you know by things that's around you how to get you back on track.
Amen.
But nevertheless, we're going to talk about more of that at the 11 o'clock, at the 12 o'clock hour on the best of the 757 Community Talk Show. But right now, we're getting back to more of that inspirational music right here, the heartbeat of Old Dominion, because that's what we like to do. Give you the praise. You're listening to WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion.
All I need, and where you lead me, I will follow, and with all my heart, I give you praise. For life, for health and strength, for giving peace in midst of sorrow. I will lift my voice and you praise. Oh, yes, I will. Oh, yeah, yeah. Your love that's sent from up above has changed my nights into 1,000 rainbows. And through your love, I've found more strength than I've ever known. You are my dwelling place, and where you lead me, I will follow. And through the calm and through the storm, I will give you praise. You are my dwelling place, my and for this thing, Lord, I give you, Lord, I give you praise. Oh, God, for this, I give you, Lord, hallelujah. Father, we give you praise. Somebody raise your voice and give the Lord praise. Yeah. Lord, you are my dwelling place, send help whenever I need you. You are there. Ooh, yeah. I give you. Yes, I do. For you are worthy, oh Lord. I give you praise. Hallelujah.
Yeah, it's a struggle when you're trying hard just to prove that you can be just like them, and all the while you're losing you. Do I do things different than the way you do? Well, I'm so sorry, 'cause I was created to be me, not you. Listen, honey, you can only be. Nobody else will do you better. Never ever be the whole wide world. Say what the Lord needs you to say now. Do it yourself, get in the way now. You can only be what you created. Oh, hey, in my closet, sometimes I can't find anything to wear, because I want you to like it, and And I know if you don't, then I'm a fashion fail. Oh, senseless judgment. I believe in the wheat and you believe in the weed. They gotta grow together. And when it's harvest time, we're all gonna see who you'll be.
WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. You're listening to the Let's Get Praise Music Ministry with the voice of inspiration. Nevertheless, we're going to keep on. Be who you are. That's Juanita Wan. And remember, you hear it right here on the Let's Get Praise Music Ministry with the voice of inspiration on the heartbeat of Old Dominion, WODU.
The Adventures of Captain 85.
So, what do you want to do now?
I don't know. We can't stay here all day.
Excuse me, fellas, but aren't you supposed to be in school?
Yeah, but we're scared to go, Captain 85.
Why?
Because of all these school shootings. It's got all the students bugged.
I can understand your fears, but you can't let this stop you from getting an education.
But a lot of kids don't go. Some teachers don't even go.
Ah, but some did, and so did some students. So up on your feet, boys. I can't allow you to play hooky.
Yes, sir.
Living and learning go hand in hand. So let's go learn something.
The real adventures of Captain 85 as we continue to build our mentoring program. We got much more things coming your way. And don't forget to join us each and every Saturday from 10 until 1 with the frequency distribution, changing the consciousness of our youth and playing positive music and motivating them in a way that they can straighten up and fly right, as my mom used to say. But nevertheless, we're getting right back into the music. We'll be back at 12 o'clock with the top of the hour with the best of the 757 Community Talk Show with my co-host, Mello V, and our special guest.
Might as well put your hands together. Put them together, come on. Put them together. I got joy in my soul.
watching while I pray. No matter the attack, I won't turn back. 'Cause this means war. This means war. This means war. This means war. I bleed the blood. I bleed the blood. There's power in the blood. I bleed the blood. Healing in the blood. I bleed the blood. Power in the blood. I bleed the blood. I've been in the storm and the rain, but the blood still stays the same. Whatever's going wrong, my war clothes are on. I might be in a daze, but you can't have my praise. No matter the attack, I won't turn back. 'Cause this means war. This means war. This means war. This means war. I bleed the blood. I bleed the blood. There's power in the blood. I bleed the blood. Healing in the blood. I bleed the blood. Power in the blood. I bleed the blood. You can't have my family. You can't have my increase. You can't have my breakthrough. You can't have my, you can't have my, you can't, I bleed. I bleed the blood. There's power in the blood. I bleed the blood. It's a prayer of protection. I bleed the blood. It's a prayer of provision. I bleed the blood. This means war. There's power in your praise. This means war. Prayer changes things. This means war. You can't take this lying down. This means war. Said this means war. This means war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Come on, put your hands together. Say, you can't have my family. Say, you can't have my increase. Breakthrough. You can't have my breakthrough. You say, you can't have my, you can't have my, you can't, I plead. I bleed the blood. There's power in the blood. I bleed the blood. Healing in the blood. I bleed the blood. Deliverance in the blood. I bleed. Here's what you gotta say. This means war. Whenever the enemy's attacking in your life, you gotta say, this means war. You can't be breaking down and falling out. This means war. You're gonna break out your prayer, break out your word. This means war. You're gonna break out some praise. This means war. Last time, this means war. When somebody clap your hands, it's a wrap. That's all you got. That's all you got. That's all you got.
WODU. We live on Facebook. The best of the 757 Community Talk Show right here on WODU with your host. I am the voice of inspiration and my co-host, Miss Mello V, and our exciting guest today, Mello V. Let's do our introduction.
Yes, indeed. We have Pastor Kaya Stevens. He's a community activist. He's a man of God first and foremost. That's we need to make sure we acknowledge that, because that's the most important thing. Because without God, we're nothing. Amen. So we want to welcome him to the studio and have him to talk to us about the latest event that just occurred in Norfolk.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm so honored to be here again with you all and to discuss just the,
take that back because it's like
our plans.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just the what happened over the weekend.
Yes.
So
Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday.
Yes.
So I guess we'll get into discussing that. And we'll actually, you want to discuss it now?
Yeah, actually, I want you. You said you wanted to lead with a statement.
Yes. Well, one thing I wanted to start before we began is actually to apologize to most of the organizers who got together and to help organize. And what my intentions were for Sunday is that when we go into the community is to pray for our brothers and sisters whom are there. Also help, not in a judgmental fashion, but in a way where we could show love. And I think it's more important when anytime we visit our communities, that we should show some form of love. It should be that way.
Right.
And another thing, I would like to thank you all for always supporting the community events and the things that we have going on in the community.
Absolutely. And I know that you want to stress the fact that you went there with the spirit to bring comfort,
yes,
and love to the people, and what it ended up being was something totally different.
Right.
So
right.
I want you to address that so people will be clear, because a lot of people weren't there.
Right.
And this way they can understand better fully what you're talking about.
Okay. Well, yes, the event that we organized, myself and I believe Will's brother, another brother of mine, and his partner.
Right.
And sometimes when you come together and doing the community events, you can have different visions.
Right.
My vision solely was, again, to go into the community and push love and encourage. That's always my goal.
And then it was in a time where there was a tragedy.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So anybody who knows me that knows that the Tidewater Park community is a place where I grew up, and I try to represent that community to the best of my ability.
Keep talking.
In a very responsible fashion. So when I saw that Sunday, when we got out there was a large police presence, and also there were the media, and many people may note or see that even with the news media being in the community, I did no interview.
Right.
They did film me on the news, but what this would suggest is that when we go into the community, we're bringing the news people, or we're bringing the cameras, or we're bringing the police officers. Anyone knows me know that I don't have a relationship with the Norfolk Police or any police department, because I believe that we should work out our own situations in the community. We should get with the brothers and the sisters in the community and let us deal with our own without the aid of outside influences. And then during this Saturday, some of the people saw that there were news cameras there. And again, this is not how I organize things. This is not something that I would do. But when you're with someone else, because the other partner is someone that I respect, but they believe that having the media or the police presence is important, but it's not something that I support.
And as you were speaking, a lot of times, as we were taught by the elders, it's a time and a place for everything.
Right, right.
So you want to bring, at that moment, healing and comfort and prayer to
Yes,
the community.
yeah.
Now, at some point, if there was a need
Right.
to bring the next level of maybe bringing some folks in to
Yes.
bring an eye to it outside of the community,
Right.
that's one thing. But what you were trying to do that day was just simply bring comfort, prayer, on a day that was
Holy Day, yes.
Holy Day.
Resurrection Sunday.
I'm gonna put this back.
Resurrection Sunday, yes.
Right.
And one thing, let me get closer to you.
Right.
And one thing that I hope people can see, or they will. One thing that I and I know it's rather dark. Too,
Yeah,
but
so you got it right now.
I hope you all can see this fine. There we go. That's good. But one thing, and you're absolutely right. We on Resurrection Sunday, I felt it was very important for us to go into the community and again pray.
Right.
I believe that prayer is visiting. Prayer is very important. Me being a minister, a preacher, or your brother, I think it was in my heart to go into the community and visit with our people.
Right.
And express the love. So that was always my intention. That's always my intention.
And growing up in old school, visitation, you go and you visit. A lot of times we sit in the church, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're supposed to go and fellowship with one another, come together, right, brethren. But then there's a time to go out and visit. They used to do a visitation.
Right.
Knocking on people's door, are you okay?
Yeah.
And in this specific instance, there had been a tragedy that you had been addressing and wanted to bring comfort to people that were affected.
Right, and you're right, because over the last 4 to 6 months, I had not been into the community.
Okay.
I had not been in any community events or anything because people I had some of my own colleagues were saying that when you go into the community, it's a waste of time. Well, I don't believe that. Mm-hmm. And my absence, while being outside of the community, they didn't show up. The very people who were telling me it's foolish for me to go into the community were the very people who would not go out themselves. Mm-hmm. So as I prayed, because I had to do some self-reflection and do a lot of things, but at the same time, I was also noticing that even though the report of Norfolk police that the crime had decreased and the murders had decreased in Norfolk, I realized that this was untrue. This was something that the news media had put out to calm our people or to make them feel like everything is okay. But you still have a large amount of shootings taking place right here in the Norfolk area.
And just recently there had been 2.
There had been 2. That was in the Tidewater Park community.
Okay.
So I get a call and I was like, well, first thing I want to do, go into prayer. And when I go into prayer, I'm not just going concerning, well, this is an opportunity to go and visit families who just witnessed some tragedy. I go because I really want God to lead me in everything that I do.
Absolutely.
And I didn't go trying to want people to notice me. Well, I find recognition in God and Jesus. Mm-hmm. And that's where my joy comes from. So anytime I go into the community, it's not to draw in attention. It's not for me. Right. It's for me to go and show love to my brothers and sisters. That's always my intention.
Right, and I know that having known you for a while, I can speak to that. I know that's where your heart is for people, and especially for that area, because if I'm not mistaken, that's where
I'm from. Right.
Yeah, you're from there.
Yes.
So your heart is there.
Right.
Right, and so you would know the heart of people having come out of that.
Yes.
And once we come out of certain things, God calls us sometimes to go back in to bring some other folks out.
Right.
Yeah. So that's really what you're about.
Right.
And you always talk about children, the children.
The children, right.
And so speak to that, because people need to understand when you're putting stuff out on Facebook, a lot of times people misconstrue what you're trying to say.
Yes, and I know you have something.
Yes,
but,
we'll bring that up.
But the thing about the children, I think that's dear about, because again, living in that condition or living in the Norfolk area, I know the mood, or I study the mood of not just in the 90s but today. I study the mood, and one thing that we had parenting. And one thing, when I minister and anything I go into the community, we go back to family, the family structure. And then If they want more questions, then we can go to the Bible, and I'll say, well, hey, the only way your family can be all right if it's covered under God. But I don't push my religious views on anybody. I just want to be an example of God's man. And so the children are very near because I see our children are suffering. They remind me of myself as a child. My mother she didn't have very much coming up, but she did the best that she could. But there also were mentors in the community. You had preachers who went into the community.
Oh, absolutely.
So I remember one preacher that went into the community for us, for the children. And I said one day, if I'm permitted or allowed to get into ministry, that I myself would go back into the community where I'm familiar with. Not just Tidewater Park, Young's Park, Huntersville, Park Place, all these areas, Diggstown. And I would speak to the heart of the people concerning the relationship of Christ.
Absolutely.
And hopefully it'll take an effect where we'll love each other more, and that love will trickle down to the children. And then the children will grow up experiencing or dishing out that same type of love.
Right. So because it has to trickle down. I mean, it has to be introduced somewhere.
Yes.
And so in order for it to take hold.
Right.
Because it's never introduced, nothing takes hold. It just stays the same.
Right.
So you bring it about to be the change that you want to see. You know, so you have to. And I love the fact that you said when you were growing up, you saw someone come and do that.
Yes.
And so thereby it inspired you to one day say, I want to aspire to do that.
Right.
Go back into my community and do God's will.
Right. And I think people, one thing I want people to understand is that I'm a servant. I'm a servant. I'll go where people won't go.
Right.
I go to the jails. I'll go to, and I'm not saying that people don't go, but some places where people are not comfortable, I'll go. I'm still a servant. I don't let the title pastor. Some preachers are not comfortable going in dark places. Well, and if you notice, when you all come to the event, we don't have security. God covers us.
Right.
We don't ask people to come and protect us. We're protected by God. And we're amongst our people. And some of my brothers and sisters whom drink, smoke, they're family. But I don't, again, push my beliefs on them. I just try to be an example of what God can do.
Absolutely, because that's what we're called to do, walk with him, walk in the spirit of him. And people will say, what is that you have? I want some of that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's about being a living epistle, being a living witness. And so then people will come and be drawn not unto Pastor Kaya or Kaya.
Right.
They'll be drawn unto him.
That's right.
Through the fruit and through the spirit of a living water that resides in you.
Right.
And that's what, if we don't bring it there, or if you don't bring it to the places where God calls you to do, it may not be done.
Yeah.
Not to say that other people are not doing that same thing.
Yes, I know those comments are.
Yeah.
But no,
We would like for our guests, if you like to comment or ask the question of the pastor, please do so. We want to acknowledge some of the people that are watching.
Yes. We got Mr. Dubier. Hello, radio family. Thank you. I love him. He was on our show last week. He has events coming up, and we're going to be mentioning those in the following weeks to come. Thank you for watching. Nita Hurt, thank you for watching. Angela Harrell, David Farr, Tron Kent, Kenneth L., thank you for watching. Bunny Brown, that's my favorite name. I love you. Thank you for watching as well. Abner, thank you. Teresa Oliver, Giovanni, Alexander, thank you for watching.
Yeah, Alexander. How are you, brother?
All right. Dobson, thank you for watching. Anton Austin, he is a thumbs up. Thank you. We thumbs up right back at you.
Yeah.
We want to get back into the conversation.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of times when you're trying to do what God has called you to do, sometimes people misinterpret.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I suffer a lot of criticism, and I don't mind it because the thing of wanting to help uplift the black community, and I haven't wavered from that. But this doesn't matter. But the more, some of the problems that I find or the opposition that I'm faced with are from black people, are from my own people, and this seems to be a trend almost. If I'm trying to, and I represent our children, I represent us. And again, I'm not behind the door trying to get money or trying to scam people. I don't have a record of it. I have a very clean record. And so when I go into the community, I'm asking the brothers that let us, let us come together, and before we can go and knock on the door to ask for any other help, let us get our own thing together. We can do it if we come together, and then instead of marching or rallying, let us sit down and say, look, this is what we have.
A plan.
We have a plan, and I know you have the money for those resources. Here's our plan. It's in paper. We have it carefully drawn out. We submit this to you. Now, the money that you all have for whatever that you're not spending it on, give it to the brothers. Give it to us that we can put those money in the places that you can see concerning our children. And if you're not doing that, well, what are we electing our elected officials for if we can't really see change in our community?
And it's about stopping the violence, because I know that because without that happening, we're losing future. Every time a child dies, that's a future that's gone.
What it is to me, because I've been doing this for a number of years, I've been doing it for over 40 years.
Yes.
Working in the community and doing things, I applaud you. That's why I have you to come over and to let you be able to speak so that people can get to know who you are.
Yeah.
But most of all, we have to learn to come together, because the day and time, I don't know, it's like to me, and I I never really asked people for money because I always worked to get the money to do what I do for the kids, because it's not about me.
That's right.
It's about trying to change the narrative and the consciousness of our young people. But at some point, you can't do anything without finance,
right?
Because we are getting to the point now in our community, and I'm going to use a phrase from one of the gentlemen's that's viewing. And I don't want to call his name if he wants to comment after I make the statement. We got a lot of community pimping going on.
Right, absolutely.
A lot of community pimping going on. People talking about they are helping the community, and they really out to support themselves.
Right. Yeah.
And what goes on in our community is that our kids are constantly suffering from people. Everybody is on the bandwagon all of a sudden saving a kid, but the toll numbers the death numbers keep rising.
Right.
So if my thing is, in order to do what we need to do, we have to have the right people to be able to focus on those things. We need to surround ourselves with people that are credible. Credibility. That's why I always invite you over, because I've been to a lot of events that you have put on, and hundreds of people have shown up.
Yes. And with that, if I could speak to that one, I mean, if I go ahead, cancel that.
So
what should I do here?
When it comes to basically, talking about the community, and getting involved, we got to be serious.
We got to be serious, and you're right now. And if I could speak to the pimping part of the of activism, this is true. Most of us, I won't exclude myself from that.
Right.
But I do see a move on people who would say they're helping the community to get grants or to get money.
Right.
But nothing derives from those people.
Right.
I never try to do any of that, because our ministry is funded by my wife and myself.
Right.
We've never had a grant.
Right.
We've never got help from any city officials or anything. We've never gotten a check. And so our work is primarily done by people with donations, like people like yourself, who would come and help us in the community. But you're right, and the brother's right when he's saying that people who only show up, or most of us will show up when there's a tragedy in the community.
Right.
When sometimes, if you notice, I become very heartbroken when I hear about certain cases, but I'm not there. That doesn't mean that I'm not concerned, but I know that moment you have to allow the family to deal with the situation, and we just have to step back and we have to pray.
Right.
And then if they call on us, then we can be there for them. But I don't jump and I don't jump and try to be involved with everything, because everything is not my fight.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
because I've done things in the past, and trust me, I've had city come up after me trying to do things for young people, and to try to keep them off the street. I used to work with the radio WRAP Soul Ranger, and we would sit down and talk, and he came to me saying, look, you know, I know you have an organization, and I need help in trying to get these buildings so that young people I can get them off the street at night, put them in an environment where we used to come out to Tidewater Park all the time.
Right.
And we put on, I got video footage. Like I tell people, I've been recording for a number of years.
Yeah.
This ain't nothing new to me.
Right.
So we used to come out to Tidewater Park at the Huntington Y and he used to do step shows, and I was a judge, and I used to record it. I got probably people watching there when they was teens. I got them when they was teens in step shows at the Huntington Y. You know, guys and girls. And it'd be 200 or 300 adults bringing their kids to watch it. And we got 600-700 people there watching and participating to keep those young people off the streets. Because,
Activities,
you know,
positivity breeds, you know, that's really what you all are saying, because if we do not come up with a solution to all this violence in the community from wherever it's coming from, within or out, because a lot of you hear people say, "Oh, that's them. That's what they're doing in their community. That's how they live, and you know, don't worry about it." No.
Because you gotta understand this is not normal.
This is not normal.
When our brothers are killing each other, and then you can examine the other communities. Other communities are not ran like ours.
Right.
The lack of resources is a big problem within our communities. And if we have so many people that are or who are marching, or who are doing all of these incredible things in the faith of our people or our young people, well, you all eventually would have to prove what your work is.
Right.
You have to prove that if you're saying that you're fighting for our people, can you prove, or you're fighting for our children? Right. Can you prove what you say?
Yeah.
And most of the time we can't.
Right. And that's the key point why we're here. That's why Miss Melody is here. That's why you are here. Yeah. We try to show our community that you have some serious people that's involved in trying to foster the problems, because kids get bored. Yeah. They have nothing to do. Right. They have talents, but nobody won't let them show how the talents, cultivate those talents. So like now, like I tell people, when I go out to perform as a professional DJ, you know, I don't try to create large sums of amounts of money at the door, because it doesn't make sense for me to have you come out there and pay $50 and $20 when all I'm trying to do money to put supplies to kids, feed kids, or to do some activities. Because we used to sponsor when we owned Picasso's in Virginia Beach. Right. And most of the clubs I ever worked in, because that's part of my negotiation when I'm trying to do a contract with people, is that this is what I require. All I got to do is ask people that's listening, how many Halloween parties have they been to?
Very good.
How many events that young people they've been to that young people didn't have to pay anything? Only person I've seen to do something lately was you. Wow. In the park.
Well, I'm grateful for it. And I'm going to tell you, to talk about Picasso's, I had I remember some good times. Right. I'm going to tell you, I wasn't always a preacher. Right. But I can think about some good times I done had in Picasso's. Right. I had me some nice, some drink. Right. And I could dance that time. Right. I could move a little bit.
But see, now there is no dancing going on.
Well, we want the children.
The children can't have it.
Right. And one thing that I admire about your work is the fact you set an example for us. Right. And I don't care if the most people you find that are unfriendly towards me or likewise. That's because I'm a preacher. Right. Doesn't mean I'm not going to speak my mind. Right. Right is right. If, again, we are backing our children, don't go behind the door when other people are around and change your tune. Right. We should never change our tune, because our children are watching us. Right. I'm not interested in being friends with whether it be the chief of police or anybody that have these titles. Right. I'm more concerned about being a representative of God. That's it.
Hello.
And I think I can get further with him being my friend than me being friend with someone of a political field or.
It says when you
things
have
like-
favor with God, he'll give you favor with man.
Yeah, and he'll give me favors. So
Yeah.
these
Right.
people will knock on your door and say, "Look, can you come in?" And I actually had an incident where someone, and I won't say his name, but he asked me, "Well, listen, you speak for the black community." I said, "I hope I do. I try." They said, "Well, look, won't you come and speak for the Democrat? We'll speak for the Democratic Party and speak to." I say, "No, sir. You got the wrong man, because I don't see anything, whether it be Republican or Democrat,
Right.
that will help
Right.
in these times right now concerning our children."
Right.
So I'm independent, which means I'm not saying our people should not vote.
Right.
Sure, vote in your best interest.
Right.
All right. Now, but for myself, I don't see anything in position right now that will help aid our children.
Okay.
In truth, I hear the talk.
Yeah.
But I don't see any action
Yeah.
after the talk.
Yeah, I've been down that road too. I've been so that threatened to be locked up.
Yep.
Put in jail.
And that's another thing. When I hear people talking about this activism work,
Yeah.
and haven't been to jail
Yeah.
or haven't been
Hello.
threatened, I'm telling you, this is so serious. You cannot be a real community activist. I
Right.
mean, fighting for a cause,
Right.
and somebody not wanting to harm you,
Take you down.
or you're not being threatened to have everything taken away from you,
Yeah.
or you going to jail.
Yeah.
So
But-
when I see people walking and just smiling and
Yeah.
everything is happy, well, I doubt their sincerity.
Yeah, because I tell people like this, money don't make me, I make
Right.
money.
Right. No doubt.
When
Right.
God blesses me to be able to do what I do, that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Right.
I ain't worried about what you can take away.
That's right.
I'm worried about what God can take away.
That's right.
So when you look at a little child, he said it it's written in the scriptures. He said anyone that harms or on the little child
Yeah.
would rather
Have a millstone
millstone
tied
cast around his neck and cast in the midst of the sea. So I don't concern myself with materialistic things.
Right.
I'd rather spend all my money in the community, helping young people. Like I tell people, I'm just a simple guy. I don't need a fancy car. I don't need fancy clothes. I mean, but I like to dress nice. Don't get me wrong.
no,
I
you
got
do.
my suits
Oh,
and
yeah,
my
you do.
ties
Oh, yes,
now.
you do.
But the thing is this. I dress so that young people can see.
Relate.
Yeah.
Relate to them.
Yeah.
And when
You
I'm
do
in the
well.
club and that I take contracts to clean up or straighten up, and I meet with everybody, the police department, whoever,
That's
civic
good.
leads,
Good.
and let them know this is what I'm about. What's there, I'm going to change it. I'm going to correct it. Yeah, and I might meet heavy opposition from the community or people that don't want to dress, want to put on a pair of jeans off the
Good,
bud,
very good.
wear negative images on clothes and words. And I'm like, this is not the place for that.
That's right.
When you come in here, you got to go by the rules.
That's right.
And these are the rules that is set in place. Now, if you welcome to come, but you don't have to spend your money here.
That's right.
You can take it to the next place. Here is going to be positiveness. And then once I work that out, I mean, I get threatened, shot, killed, beat up. But once they reform, when they see they can't, I can't bully him into letting me do it, then they change and start dressing. And then they come back and say, you know what? I didn't know what you was trying to do. But man, I like this. Even young ladies, like I didn't know.
That's very good.
Because they have to see it.
Yes.
And their parents.
Absolutely.
I know one guy, he brought his mom and his dad to the club. His dad said, I had to come up and see what was going on. My wife was up here all the time, and I know why now. It's a nice place. And my son, his attitude even changed. So when people don't understand this, you have to be able to get them to see.
Accessible, because without accessibility to people that, we want to sit in our little hubs in our churches, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But we need to also bring the Father's house to the people.
Right.
You're supposed to bring Christ with you. So whether we were talking about earlier, bringing people together where it's most needed.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of times people won't enter the threshold of an institution, wherever it may be.
Yeah.
They may enter into a situation where there's a club, there's music. Well, we were talking about earlier how Christ had to go into places where other folks might not was saying, well, why are you there? Why are you talking to that person? And why are you doing that? That's where he calls us, to a place where it's most needed.
Yeah.
So I want to say hello to Cheryl Dobson, Greg
sister.
Brand News Bryant, thank you very much. I
Also,
love your clothing line.
Yeah.
We still got to get you back over here. Amazing Vaughn Johnson, Patrick Alston, DeAndre Carswell.
I see people on my hello,
Zeta,
brothers and sisters.
Dove, and Kay Hicks. We're going to an event on April 16th.
Beautiful sister.
Yeah, beautiful sister. Against gun violence. So April 16th is event in Richmond. Williamsburg. Thank you very
Excellent
much.
Sister.
I just came from Richmond. That's all. But we are always talking about how we have to change the narrative without. And having to be able to do that, we have to change legislation.
Right.
So
that's it.
That's the main
and my
thing
thing is this, and we were talking about that earlier, as you were saying. You can march all day long, and I'm not saying don't do it. Right. If that's what can move the needle, then march.
Right.
But it's going to take legislation or you to understand laws.
Right.
Go and also
and be at the table.
Sitting with these people.
Right.
Here, going to town hall meetings.
Right.
Sitting at your civic league meetings.
Right.
Sitting in these places
Right.
and hearing what they're proposing for your children.
Right.
Many times people are making decisions concerning your children and you don't know what to deal with.
Right. And that's the thing is we're going to march today.
Yeah.
We need to be marching those 18-year-olds down to the polls to register.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's in numbers.
They don't care today. They'll give you the whole country to march. Anytime. They just had a march a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
And then yesterday, the teachers, which was good, they walked out of school.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And they walked out of school. They don't mind you marching because they know this is just a mood you're in.
Yeah.
So it comes down to understanding the laws, what's taking place, and then when you hit them with the laws and propose certain legislation to change, then they gotta change. But other people back that bill.
Yeah.
You gotta change it, but you gotta you gotta educate the people, educate us on what we're trying to do. What are we fighting for? What are we marching for? What are we marching for?
And
what's
you
the
have
goal?
to rightly know how to go in and negotiate. Because without being at the table, you can march the people like, well, they're out there. We're in here, but dividing up the money. We're in here creating the laws. While they're out there extending energy, you need both components. You have to be able to be at the table, but also bring attention and awareness to what's happening in order for you to say, I need to be at this table.
Yeah.
I need to know what laws are you putting on the books or what monies or funding is going in and out that may impact what I need to be done as well. So
See, the thing is with the gun, they keep bringing up the guns. I don't care how many guns people have.
Right.
Frankly, it ain't the guns that I'm concerned about. It's the guns getting in the wrong hands and people killing in our community every day. Right. We have to stop the killing. Right. You want to keep your gun, fine. Because if the man see you with it, if the man stop you, you still gonna get shot if you got a gun. He ain't playing. I just saw a video the people sent me today saying, make it go viral. Where the guy, the white guy walked down the street, police didn't say nothing. Right. Okay, have a nice day. Black guy walked down, he's on the ground. Now he's surrounded by 8, 9 police officers. You cannot take the chance as a black person walking around, even if it's out in public.
But I now with that, we need to. It's certain things that we should do. If I know the people saying, well, when you have white guys who carry guns,
right?
And in my opinion, most of them have a terrorist attitude. Most white men, older white men, have the attitude that they can do what they want.
Yeah. And
the black man of a upper age or older gentleman, he's looked still as a boy or as a child. He's equal to a 9-year-old, and he's 50. But in the eyes of the law, if he's carrying a weapon, and he can have all the proper paperwork with that law, with that weapon.
Right.
But if the law, most law enforcement, not all, see him, he's a threat.
Right.
White guy can have a beer in one hand and a pistol in the other hand, and cussing the police out.
Right.
And don't get shot.
But he ain't getting
shot. A brother can reach for his wallet.
For his cell phone.
And get 8 bullets in his back.
Right. Unbelievable.
So we're doing all we can to try to preserve the lives of our brothers.
Yeah.
So now we got to come to the table realistically, and figure out what is it that will work for us.
Right.
We have to push certain laws, and the laws weren't put in place for us, by the way.
That's right.
But at the same time, something has to change.
Right.
We're not safeguarded by a lot of the police officers, but then you have some of the good police officers that are put in the bag with the bad police officers.
Right.
I'm not anti-police,
right.
but I do understand even when I see them,
Right.
I'm nervous in my car.
Right.
I haven't done anything wrong, but I don't know what their opinion may be of me.
There's a perception.
Right.
Because it just happened to me at Walmart. As I'm in Walmart on Easter Sunday,
Wow.
I bought Easter candy for my grandchildren, and I'm in there, and the guy, we were talking with the cashier, and I was putting stuff in the baskets because I was getting ready to go straight to an event.
Right.
I get to the door, and the woman stops me. Right? I said, "Ma'am, I need to see your receipt." Well, my husband was doing something else. I said, "Well, he has a receipt." Meanwhile, I'm standing there, and 3 Caucasian men walk out of the store with stuff open. Like I had stuff open in my cart. So I'm saying, "Lord, okay, keep me near the cross, because I don't want to say that." I said, "Well, ma'am," those gentlemen just walked out and you didn't ask for a receipt, and it was no bag. They didn't have anything in a bag. I said, "I need to speak to your manager." Immediately, she said, "Oh, no, you can go ahead." I said, "But if I had not have said, let me speak to the manager."
Right.
She would have held me. She was like, "Well, I need to wait for your husband to get to the door so I can see the receipt." I'm looking at, excuse me.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that really bothers me
so
also.
It's perception.
When our sisters, when they're faced with certain deals like that, when white men, I will say this, and they approach our sister with such confidence with intimidation, to make her feel like they have control, or that bothers me.
Right.
And I say to my brothers that we should organize to keep our women safe.
Right.
That when we hear stuff like that, that we should show up, not in a violent nature. We just want to make sure our sisters are all right.
Right.
And then, like in other communities, white men are not going to let their women be abused.
Right.
They're not going to let some police officer come in there or whomever else come into their community and beat up on their women.
Of course.
But we have a lot of work to do, but it can be done.
Right.
We need to service our communities,
Right.
do right for our communities, back our communities.
Right.
And then the police officers, judges, those people will start to gain a little respect for us.
Of course. We can't
But we haven't given them anything yet.
Right.
We haven't given them anything. We're marching.
Right, we marching.
So we're talking about, and we're praying and and waiting.
Right.
Praying and waiting and marching.
Yeah.
Well, those things, it's all right to pray. I'm a praying man. I pray and I get results.
Of course.
But at the same time, with prayer, there's action.
Right.
We have to put
Faith
forth an
and
action program
Yeah.
that these people will see and say, wait a minute, these people are serious.
Right.
Because as of now, they do not take us seriously.
Right.
And it's once again about perception, how you perceive a black male, how you perceive a black female. And if you don't have a respect, and that's why we can't legislate the heart.
No, you
but
can't
that's
legislate the
why
heart.
we need legislation to say there's a penalty. If you come against someone based on something that can't be changed, color or then you're out of order. There has to be a penalty for that action.
Right.
We see so many times that when things come at the majority community, there's immediate action. There's immediate something done. But when it comes to us, we got to get out here and we got to fight for it. And we have to do it in a smart way. We have to do it in an intelligent way. And what you're saying is we have to be at the table when there's legislation. Because without those changes on that table, Martin Luther King had to make sure it was done legislatively as well as spiritually.
Right.
He had to cover all grounds.
All grounds.
All bases, because he realized getting out there as a pastor, getting out there and praying, one thing, beautiful.
Yeah.
Having church services. But he realized if we're not making changes
not at
where
the
it
table.
counts
Right.
at the
Right.
table, it will not matter because your heart will be your heart.
Right. But
But the legislation will speak for itself.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to make sure. And then you have a leg, like the old folks used to say, a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's right.
because today
Yes.
it seems to be complicated because our young people are a certain age, they can't vote. But like I tell, when I speak to young people and I try to explain to them that when you become 18, stay in school, graduate,
Yeah.
do you know that you have the power of $50,000 to $100,000 with your hand signature?
Oh, yeah.
Because when you go to college, it costs you $50,000 to $100,000.
Wow.
You have the power, but you're throwing it away. You're throwing your resources away. To get an education, to buy a home, you're throwing it away. To get out here and bully and be in gangs, you're throwing it away. Because all you're doing is getting that money that you could have went to college with. That money you could have bought a home with, keeping your credit straight. Now they're giving it to the man to lock you up with.
Yeah.
It takes over $100,000 to keep one person in jail?
You know, I was in the Norfolk courtroom. This was, I believe, a week before last. And sitting in the courtroom, and you see so many young black boys and girls who are rushed to the jails. And I hear some of the most ridiculous cases that you would ever want to hear, trespassing and probably attempting to fight and things like that. But they're sitting waiting for bonds. And you're looking at it, as long as our children we're not standing in the gap for our children, they're gonna have every excuse to go into the community and act other than what we believe they can be. All the children in our communities are not bad. All parents in our communities are not bad parents. So we have good parents, but we have just a couple of rotten parents who are in our communities making it hard for the good parents, those parents that don't discipline their children.
Right.
I'm one that's telling people we got to get back to the old way of doing things.
Yeah.
We have to discipline our children.
Stop being a friend.
And then I've never seen, I see now where you could never jump on a black woman and beat your mother up or smack your mother. But today, most of our young people can fight their mother and their fathers.
Yeah.
I tell my children, and they bear witness, I'm a little guy.
Right.
My children are big.
Right.
But I'll go to jail for a long time.
Hello.
If I believe the thought was in their mind.
Hello.
And my family know it. My brothers and sisters, they know it. My mother know it.
Yeah.
My wife knows it.
Right.
Because we have to put in them, and then when they go out in the community, they say, wait a minute, I think a little bit of what my mother and my father said. Because when I was coming up, I was a little afraid to do certain things because immediately my mom's
hello.
I had to deal with my mom was in my mind.
It wasn't even really the voice. This was this.
Yep,
Right,
she
the
can look at you.
Look at you.
I
That's
remember,
right. Your mother can look at you.
You already know what that was.
So and that's good because some of our young parents, they still can look at their children.
And it works.
And it works.
Right. Yeah,
And I
okay.
think they were raised
Right.
in a way, but we got to get back to that.
Yeah.
Because once we correct the home, that's one thing, we're going back to the Tidewater Park thing. When I went out, the intentions were to push the mood of the family.
Right.
If the love of the family is together, then the community can change. And then once you see that the community is changing, you got to go and knock on the city manager's door or somebody's door or the mayor's door and say, look, we need resources because look here. Look what's going on here.
Right.
We got a little control now.
Right.
But we need help to further what we're trying to do.
Thank you.
But if you don't have anything, it's like a person going to the car lot and saying, listen, I want that car, that expensive car, but you have no money, nothing to back, or you don't even have a job, you don't have nothing to qualify you to get that car. It's the same principle. We got to get our affairs together so what qualifies us to go and sit in front of these people and say, look, we need this. We need those funds for this. We can run field trips all summer long to keep these children busy. But what would we put in writing? So what type of programs do we have? Where would it be located? How long would it be? Who's going to be over it? How many people are involved? And we can put it all down the line, and they can't argue with it.
Right. Because if you give them they say the idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yes, sir.
Our young people are brilliant people.
Yes.
It's just that the brilliancy is running them where they feel like nobody's giving them a chance.
Right.
You know, I went to an event where I observe people, and when I do things, I go to observe.
Yeah.
Because I don't want nobody telling me anything about anybody. But my spirit's gonna say, you need to go and check that out. Because when people are not living up to what they say, but doing the opposite, our young people are the one that's hurt.
Yeah.
You can't hurt me. I'm an older person.
You just disappoint us.
You know, you disappointing me because it's supposed to be new leadership out there.
Yes.
You know, I'm in my 60s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm still gonna be around for a minute. But the point I'm trying to make is we have to train our young people to take that place, pass the ball.
That's what I'm trying to do. Listen, like I said, I consider myself the brother and a servant.
Right.
Am I a leader? I think to some degree, but not so much.
Right.
But we want a leader out of the community.
Right.
When we go to Young's Park and Tidewater Park, in my heart, there's the leader.
Right.
He's in the community. She's in the community.
Right.
And I'm saying, We need you.
Right.
And so if I have to be a voice to encourage our young people to go out and fight on behalf of us, learn the laws, become lawyers, become good police officers, so when you go, so you can come police our communities.
Yeah.
Because we need good black police officers.
Right.
Brothers that understand. And one thing that I'm troubled by also, with all this that's taking place, we don't hear too many black officers speaking against their brothers that are like the brother Calvin, the basketball football player, that guy. Well, he took a stand, right?
Right.
Well, his colleagues, all that money that was in that he had against him, them brothers also took a knee.
Right.
They were now up against losing a contract or losing money.
Right.
But they did it, why? Because of the principle of their people.
Right.
They wanted to help their people.
Right.
Well, law enforcement some of those officers should take the same stand.
Of
I know they
course.
took an oath,
Yeah.
but I also know that if they speak and tell these white boys or whomever else to stop shooting our people, stop harming our people, and then we can go and tell our brothers when the police are talking to you, we want you to be respectful.
Right.
Don't talk back to the police officers.
Right.
Show respect.
He has authority.
But when you're doing that, and then if they still go upside of your head, then let us all come together and get that police out of that jurisdiction or get them off of the force.
Right, because he shouldn't be on the force.
He should not be if he's not stable enough to carry that badge or honor that badge, then he shouldn't be on the force.
Yeah.
He's not mentally stable enough. If you could walk up to a person or a woman and throw her on the ground or punch a brother in the face while he's with his children.
Yeah.
What do you think that does to a man after you leave him?
Right. I've been through all that. But, like I tell people, I've been through those situations where if you say something and being respectful to police officers, and they still be nasty to you.
Yeah.
I've been thrown up against the wall. I've been thrown up and head banged up against the car, just because I said I was a manager.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you the manager? Oh, okay. Well, this is what you get, manager, for telling me what I can't do. But you cursing.
They don't like you to challenge their authority.
I'm not challenging you. But then when the owner came and spoke to them, and they said, "Oh, Mrs." Her name was she's deceased now, Mrs. Davis, and you know the Club Royal Blue on 1872 East Little Creek Road, and she said, "You spoke to She said, "Well, you spoke to my manager, right?" He said, "Yeah, I spoke to him." He said, "Well, why didn't you give him the same courtesy you gave me as the owner? He's the manager and run my business. You was very disrespectful to him, and I never want that to happen again."
We need people like that.
So when we see things that's out of place, we have to train our young people so that they know that if a police officer, he has the authority. That's why he's the police.
Right.
It's yes, sir, no, sir. I say yes, sir, and no, sir. Even though I might have done something wrong or I didn't do nothing wrong. They be asking me, like, when they get to the car, like, did I ask you for your license and registration? But you stopped me. I know you're going to ask for it, but did I ask you? No, sir. Now, can I see your license? Here you go, sir. Thank you, sir. Get that light fixed. Yes, sir. You got to inject a restrictor sticker. I got to give you a ticket. I understand, sir. Appreciate it. I'll be right back.
And I think with this generation, they feel like if you're being polite, if you're using manners, then it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of, don't you know you have more control when you calm the situation by being courteous? It's a lot of situations I be in, and I know the devil is wrong. I know this person is wrong. But I'll be very polite. Yes, sir.
But see,
but at the same, I'm able to walk away. But in the same time, I know if I would have furthered the situation, I could be in jail or away from my family. So a lot of things I avoid, but I also keep my integrity as a man.
Of course.
I don't never give them the satisfaction of belittling me or making me feel that I'm a teenager or something. I'm a grown man with bills and a family. And the same respect that I give you or any man, then I expect the same back to me.
They will challenge you. You do have some police officers will challenge that.
Yeah.
But what we have to remember that we have to keep calm.
Yes.
We have to understand that.
That's
why it goes back to that book. You need that Bible. It's all in the book.
Without the spirit of a living God,
I'm glad you brought that up. A living God. We're not talking about a spook God. We're not talking about a God that's not going to do anything for you. We're not talking about a Jesus that's not going to do. We're talking about the Jesus and the God that our ancestors prayed to, and they got results. When Brother Nat Turner, they said, well, because a lot of our people like to show the Passion of Christ on Easter.
Right.
Now, that whole depiction, of course, many people who know me know that I would never show that to our people.
Right.
But the Nat Turner story is a similar thing.
Right.
Well, Nat Turner was almost like Jesus.
Right.
Because God had given him a vision.
Right.
God had spoke to him concerning the condition to look at. He had to open his eyes, and he saw the condition of people who were being trampled on.
Right.
Brother Nat Turner, even though people say it was wrong what he did, he went into some action.
Right.
He went and corrected some things. Although he lost his life, today we still talk about Mr. Nat Turner.
Right.
Like they talk about Jesus.
Of course.
Yes. So we need when Jesus give you a spirit as a fighter, it's hard for me to believe anybody who talk about Jesus and you're not a fighter.
Right.
You can't tell me, and you're meek. I know you say, well, Jesus was meek, kind, and everything. Okay. No, it was a time when Jesus was that way. We're in a time right now where animals are acting like animals, heathens are acting like heathens, and you want to be meek. Don't make sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Acknowledge these people before, because we only got a few more minutes.
Cheryl Dawson, thank you for tuning in. Sheree Stephen, your wife.
Hey, honey.
Yep, she's watching as well. Keisha Mills, thank you. Dominic Boone. Wells Davis. All right.
All right. Hey.
All right. Amazing Vaughn Johnson says, hello. Thank you. Hello to you too. Michael Mazon. Yeah. All right.
Hey,
DJ
brothers.
Heart Attack. We thank you for watching as well. DeVale Smith. Lisa Seymour and Randy Ward. Thank you all for watching. If you have any comments, please make sure you post them so we can make sure that we speak to those comments. I want to bring up a quote that you put on your Facebook page.
Yeah.
Because I felt it so strongly when I read it. It says, brothers, eventually we're going to have to unite and fight our open enemy. Despite our differences, God is with us.
Yes. I made that post and I said, brothers, eventually we're going to have to fight our open enemy. Despite our differences, God is with us.
Right.
The reason I made this post, we're in a time right now where brothers who look like me, who look like you, sisters, are going to have to become serious about what's taking place in our communities.
Right.
And then when we're serious about what our aims are, and we're on one accord, God then will lend help to us.
Yeah.
God has become absent with us today.
Yeah.
If you go, I don't care what church you go to, you may see some dancing, some singing, and all of that. That doesn't mean that God is there. That doesn't mean that Jesus is there. It just means that aerobics is taking place, or probably Zumba or something like that is taking place. But it doesn't mean that Jesus is there. So when we become serious about what's taking place and really pray and really fast and really talk to God, turn off the television and begin to read a little bit and begin to ask God to let love fall on your heart, and then you feel that feeling. And then God say, because sometimes we got to ask God, what is love? And then when we feel love, then I feel love for you. I feel love for her. And I want for what I want for myself, I want for you. What I want for myself, I want for her. And so when the deal go down and we're wronged by each other, we'll have to fight. And that doesn't mean you're going to hold your Bible and say, oh, Lord, please, please. No, eventually, we're going to have to defend our community. We're going to have to stand up for our children. No other people will do it. They'll calm us down and say, no, don't do it. Brothers are going to jail anyway. Brothers are going to jail. Brothers are dying anyway.
Hello.
So now, instead of you harming each other, wait for God to give the order for us to go into battle. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because he already said it's been written over 2,000 years.
It's welling up now.
Until my people turn from their wicked ways.
That's right.
And only then from heaven
Then
I will respond.
That's right. God,
you know, he's already given you the commandment. And our people are doing everything but listening and paying attention. I'm not a
theologian.
A theologian.
Neither am I.
And I'm not a saint.
Neither am I.
But I know through the experience of growing up.
I'm just saying.
I know through the experience of people that I met. And people that like me, people that didn't like me, people that bullied me, and people that took things away from me. But the point I'm trying to make is this. As the Williams brothers say, sweep around our own front door.
Our own front door, that's right.
You know, we have to clean up our community by showing our young people that we love them. We got to tell them we love them. Not just the words, but in the actions, then they will see that, wait a minute, I think they are sincere. I think that they really mean what they say.
That's right.
You know, and that's what we really have to do. And then once we can get control of that, then God is going to open up another door that's going to say, now we can sit at the table. These are the people we need to sit at. Because you're always going to have those sheeps.
Yes.
And wolf clothing.
Yes, sir.
That come amongst us.
And that's it. And one thing about it, when you have the people who perpetrate as though they're helping just to get friendship with other people, whether it be white. I remember there was a situation over in another city. I won't mention the community.
Right.
They were electing a mayor, white mayor, and got all the black people together, and the white mayor promised them the world.
Right.
And as long as he was campaigning, he was at all of their events.
Right.
Now, this is the theme of all people who are running for office.
Right.
Absolutely.
But the man was at every event. He was even doing the electric slide.
Hey, I can jiggle.
Yeah, he was doing it. He was doing whatever it took.
Yeah.
But do you know today it's hard for that man to go back into that community and serve that community?
Yeah.
It's hard to even get a meeting with that very mayor.
Right.
And I believe some of the viewers know who I'm speaking of, but I won't say his name because I don't live in the city.
Right.
But I was very bothered by how the black people got behind this man and knew his track record and talking about he's all right by us. He's going to do right by us. They can't now. They don't know how to even deal with this man. I think it was better to have the previous mayor that they got rid of.
Right, because you already know his track record.
Right. Yeah.
And what we do
This
is
mayor's not going to do anything any differently.
They'll promise to get into office, and then when they get there, well, you know, I'm trying.
Yeah,
don't try. Well, we're gonna try this time. We're gonna try something different.
Right.
We're gonna get the candidate that we know that's gonna do it, because when you don't look for anything in return but to serve the people, you can't serve. The Bible says you can't serve man and you can't serve two masters.
So that's what we're doing.
Right.
Most of us are serving two masters.
Right.
But we profess. They say, "Oh no, you're not. I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim." But see, we're serving two masters.
Right.
You got to serve one that God can fall on you and then give you favor.
Right.
That's the only way that works.
That's exactly, I'm sitting here taking this all in because we have two strong brothers. And I'm used to being around strong brothers. And when you were talking about politics, Mr. Vaughn and I met during those years. And a lot of what you're saying is basically God says sometimes you have to step back and let things fall where they may, because when you were out there trying to do what I call you to do, people will resist it to you.
Right.
He'll put you in the fire, then he'll bring you out.
Oh, yes.
But what happens is a lot of what you're saying, people have to go through that in order to see that if these people come into the community and promise you the world, but there's no accountability.
Right.
They come into our churches.
Yes,
they come into our community.
They'll
visit us, and that's the trick
and
that
you'll
they
see
use.
them again.
And then after they get what they want, it's just like a brother who's trying to get after that girl.
Right. Yeah.
And
Once he get in there,
he get in there, lights are low, Luther playing.
Yeah.
And he get the kissing on her, you know.
Right.
Excuse me, sister. And the mood is set.
Right. Folks.
And he forget everything.
Right.
I mean, she forget everything because now that moment is
Right.
hot.
Moment, yeah.
Right.
It's hot now.
Yeah.
And so and now the morning come.
Yeah.
The sun is up.
Right.
Hair all messed up.
Yeah.
And last night is gone.
Right.
Brother get his pants and
gone.
all
He's
this
gone.
stuff, he gone.
Yeah.
And he calling you. You trying to call him and trying to reach out to him.
And reality
He don't
sets
text
in.
you back.
He got what he wanted.
He got what he want. That's the same way most of our politicians
Yeah.
are.
I kind of reflect on that, because when I was sharing with Melvin V on our ride home, I said when I'm out there when I was young and single, or even when I was divorced, I stayed by myself. People thought I was married, and I'm like, I'm not married. I'm divorced for 7-8 years.
Right.
And, I'm from the old school.
Yeah.
My mother brought me up a certain way that a man should carry himself around a young lady.
That's right.
Even if you're dating her, you get to know her first. And even when I met my wife that I'm married to today, she'll tell you, we was never intimate for almost 6 or 7 months. Wow. And then people be like, when I tell people this, and I said, these people won't speak to me. Some ladies don't even speak to me that day. They made me say, stop calling me. And they said, well, maybe I said, did you kiss her? No. I'm not, we got to get to know her first. But 6 months, she's probably thinking is something wrong with her.
Yeah. And again, it goes back to the politicians.
Right.
Those people treat the same
way. Right.
And I'm not saying all politicians are bad,
No.
but we got to be slow to wrap our arms around it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
As to what
you gotta be,
you're putting your power behind.
Right.
Right.
Because
You
when
backing
you can
people.
give your power to somebody, and like you said, using the analogy you just brought up, once they get what they want, you
Yeah.
no longer see them. You no longer
Hello.
have access. You have to now learn from that experience to understand that you can't give up your power that easily.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't give up your virtue that easily.
Yeah.
You can't give up your vote that easily.
Right.
You can't give up these things that God said,
Everything.
you know what, I've given you the tools.
Right.
But then you just freely giving them up just so easily. You have to be able to vet people, whether
Yeah.
you're a potential husband or boyfriend or
Yeah.
a potential
You gotta know-
you
person
gotta
that's
know
going
what
to
you're
work in your
dealing with.
Yeah,
If
you
you
got
don't
to.
know what you're dealing with, you're going to be deceived.
Hello.
And
That's right.
deception is very cunning. It says in the Bible,
That's
he's
right.
a cunning thing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, so you have to be very concerned about who these people are coming into your community. If you haven't seen them when
Right.
they weren't running,
And we should
don't
be the
worry about it
agents.
when they are running.
Right.
Yeah.
We should not be the ones bringing them on in.
Yeah.
To bringing them in, and they should be able to come on their own
Right,
volition.
right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Well, the clock on the wall,
All
you know,
right.
it's always running out.
Beautiful.
You got any last words to say before we sign
Yes,
off?
I thank you all for bringing me on. I thank you all for the support that you all give
Right.
and the wonderful work that you do. And I just ask for even the listeners or the viewers to continue to pray for me and my family
Right.
as we step up our
Right.
energy
Right.
to do more for the community,
Right.
to love the community, to
Right.
focus on our children,
Right.
and do what God will have us to do. This is real. We're not playing any games. We don't care. If people, if they're with us, they're with us. If they're not, they're not. We don't
Right.
have time to figure that out.
Right.
Our children
Takes
are
so much
dying.
energy.
Let's
Yeah.
go to work. Let's
Yeah.
get this thing together. And I don't care what city you live in.
Right.
Let us all come together. Brothers, you see the problem.
Right.
Let us sit down for real and have a real dialogue and try to fix these problems ourselves.
Right.
Thank you, Vaughn Johnson.
Yeah.
He said another great show. I
Thank
you
you,
for
Brother
that,
Vaughn.
brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mello V, you got any closing words or comments? Or-
As usual, blessings until next time, Mello V.
Well, the clock on the wall saying I done ran over. So I can't talk but so. But I tell you this before I go. Love yourself and put God first, and everything else will fall in place. It doesn't matter what others think about you. It's really all in what you think about yourself. Pastor Stevens, thank you again for coming over.
Thank you.
Mello V, as the gentleman just said. Mr. Johnson,
Yeah,
a great show.
Another great show.
You know, and remember, we'll be back on Thursday with another guest on the Best of the 757. Until the next time we meet, till the next time we greet. This is the Voice of Inspiration on WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion. We out of here. I see you. I'm on my way to the parking lot. I'm gone. WODU.
Fun for the money, my crew will get comedic. There to tell us to step. Your chest needs orthopedic shoes, booze in a bottle and booze for your awful flows. Both get passed out at shows. Far from optimal for you, I suppose, but for me, just perfect. Let's work it to a point of understanding this. Ergo vis-a-vis, Cuervo Cinco be a bad way to end a good night, a good way to start a bad one. Be now, one EP later, the combo of chills and less is much greater. I vote to kill the stress with hydrangea. Why take a vote? I know the results in my favor and favored by your sector, even though I'm not a member. While you're Chrissy Hine, fine, you're backed by pretenders. Don't get me wrong, don't mean to diss your small crew, but who raps better than you? Huh, we all do.
The undercover bros subtle with the undertones, rugged unbeknownst to you. Plus we push the envelope, license to kill. 007 with the flow, uncontrolled, the pose a dictator. Step into the throne, I've been known as tactical. Weather lamping at my home, tracking prey, tapping phones, kicking raps at my shows. The 4-man task force, ready to unload. Plus the burners got my back, so I don't have to act alone. Savage soul animal, swinging the hammer flow, banning on the gramophones. Kelsey Grammer hammered, yo. Hold titles and right like Barry Manilow. No rivals in sight, yo. They go to panic mode. Unnatural acts, huh? Peep the anecdote. These are not your typical cats. We're not calico, creeping in the visible mask, deep in the catacombs. Tell people I'm the lyrical rap master grammatical.
My whole crew out, sick as new now.
We about to put it down like this, alright?
Coming at you. Anyway, long story short,
we get raw.
As a kid, I was called the Mexican elf. I kept to myself, stolen Lego sets on the shelf. Now every show I rock, some affection is felt. Drop your plates, man. I'll watch you have sex with yourself. Ghetto socks, kid, don't get props. I get drop kicks from hot chicks who got pissed, cause I won't pop Chris. You got me, buddy, I won't knock the bubbly. Broads is lovely, transform the socks to Coveney. Yeah, it's lady time. I appear through the shady ponds. If she's fine, I'm behind it. Air Max 89 stepping. Might creep sexual. I wanna take a magic carpet ride like Steppenwolf. I know your sign, boo. Real hair, color eyes, shoe size, tramp stamp on your spine too. Don't remember me yet? Let me remind you. To answer your question, we nine. This in high school.
The dame wore a velour robe, an agoraphobe, but perfectly comfortable indoors though. And I couldn't ignore the allure of her torso, nor the glance she was aiming at my shorts. So I suggested she pour another Bordeaux and let me make like a Borg and probe her ore globe. She said, for sure, yo, give me a minute. I said, cool, I brought something naked, I'll get in it. And while I was waiting to commit said debauchery, I felt something hot and overhead watching me. Sure enough, it was a cutie in tight pants, in the right stance to pull my card for a night dance. I said, alright, I got like 5 minutes. And before I could think, she jumped down and said, dive in it. Next thing I know, she's trying to make me when I hear a voice yell, hey, save some for me, mom. It's word birdie.
We about to put it down like this, alright?
Coming at you. Anyway, long story short, we get raw. My whole crew out, sick as new now.
All across the board, we burn it up.
We be shining brighter than the suckers.
Anyway, long story short,
you gotta love us.
You're tuned in to WODU, the heartbeat of Old Dominion.
Oh, when I die, will you bury me so I could keep good company? And it's not as lonely as it seems, my dear, I'll see you